All right, Caitlin. That milk got me. Is that a good start to the podcast?
That's so gross.
All right. So, first off, I'd like to ask your thoughts on Cinnamon Toast Crunch for a cereal.
I think it's a winner.
Yeah?
Yes. I think it should be a staple in everybody's kitchen.
That's strong words.
Cereal.
Staple cereal?
Mm-hmm. It's good.
How long has that been one of your favorites?
For a while. I don't know.
Yeah?
Yeah. I don't really remember what I ate in college or what my mom bought whenever I lived in her house.
I feel like Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I don't know if my parents ever bought it, but I feel like I always had it in college. And that was it was like Cheerios, Cinnamon Toast Crunch, shredded mini wheats. Those were like the three that I would always see. Like, it's not like my top three, but those were just the three that I always saw. And so Cinnamon Toast Crunch was always the natural one that I'd go for. So I feel like it was fitting for us to start with that.
Yeah.
So
I like it.
All right. So we want to sit down and have like a real conversation, or just more like a time to sit down and talk. And we're going to record it for us to be able to look back on. So this isn't really like to grow like a following. It's more of just us to be able to look back on conversations that we've had, just as us, just for us to kind of look back on. So, I want to hear, what is the one thing that you most love about being a mom right now? So we have 3 boys, 1 little baby girl. Mm-hmm. So we have a family of 6 right now. Right now.
You have something to say?
No, I do not. Do you?
No, I don't.
Okay. So right now we have that. So with being a mom, and you're a stay-at-home mom right now, what's your favorite thing about being a mom to 4 little kids?
There's a lot of really good things, but I think one of my favorite things has just been watching each of them change over the past few years or months, and seeing how different they are and who they're becoming has been one of my favorite things to see. Just how their personalities have changed, how their voice has changed, how they treat each other just as they get older, how the boys treat their sister as she gets older, how she's learning to develop her own voice with all the boys. I think that's probably
who do you think's changed the most?
I think Grayson has changed the most, just because he's the oldest and he gets to kind of see everything first, and he's influenced by older kids in a different way than the other ones are or haven't been yet. Mm-hmm. And that he, as you know, was really angry when he first came into our home, and he's grown a lot. His heart has softened a lot, and I think it's been fun to watch him change into who he is today. And I think that there's still a lot of changing to do, as we all probably go through things like that, where we all change a little bit as we get older.
He's even softened, like even just like hugging him. Mm-hmm. Like early on, it was, and I guess in case you don't know, we have our 3 boys are adopted. So they were 3, 5, and 6 when they came into our house through foster care, and are now the adoption went through about a year later, and then they've been in our home ever since. So now they are 6, 8, and 9. Cooper and Grayson are about to turn 9 and 10.
Right.
So kind of on the edge of a lot more changes to be happening.
And I think with Grayson, and this is really recent, like probably since the end of school and around I guess, a couple weeks into the summer, but he's even started to have more physical touch with me, which has not been the norm before. So meaning he will initiate hugs, or he will initiate a high five, or like putting his arm around me instead of me putting my arm around him. And so I think he is figuring that out, since he was I don't think he got a lot of physical touch when he was little. As Ellie has gotten physical touch, he, I don't think, did. And so trying to make up for some lost ground there. But he's, I think, the one that's made the biggest, had the biggest change.
So coming off of that, what do you feel like is the hardest thing about being a mom right now to 4 kids?
Well, I think the hardest thing is just the stage of life that we're in right now. It's all about the training stage of life, and we're in it together, but we're also like having to coach every single day, almost every single moment, saying the same thing over and over again. And that can just be very draining. And you feel like you're not doing anything. Nothing is sinking in because you're talking about the same thing, or getting onto them for the same thing over and over and over again. And we have a smaller house, so it's easy to hear what their conversations are, or what they're about to go do, or if they're leaving somebody out. And as much as I enjoy being around them, sometimes I think a little space is nice, and they have to deal with all of their own things. Whereas right now we are just all so close that I'm easily accessible, and they just come straight to me, which I do like. It's such a hard balance, but I think that's probably the toughest part right now of being a mom, is like just consistently and constantly having to say the same thing over and over again. Yeah.
I think for me, it's the patience aspect of like, the hardest thing is having the patience. And I think it's hard, like the patience, not only with like the things that they say or do, and like me not having like a harsh tone with them, because it's like, I don't know. I mean, you coach yourself to be like, I'm not going to blow up. I'm not going to get mad. I'm not going to yell. I'm not going to, whatever it is. But it's like that consistency piece of being able to not get irritated at the thing that you've told them not to do for the 10th time, but they do it anyways. And so having that patience, but also I think that what's hardest for me is having the patience whenever they want to do the thing that I don't necessarily want to do, but it's important for me to do with them. I mean, like the other night, Grayson wanted to play lightsabers. And he wanted to battle lightsabers. And I was like, no, buddy, like, let's do it another night. Well, then that other night got like busy and we did something else. And I know that it's something that he really wants to do. And I know it's just something I just need to do. And it's like having the patience to go, okay, I don't need to focus on the things I need to do or want to do. But I need to make sure that I'm putting myself out there with them enough to where they don't feel like I'm pushing them away. And that's a tough thing to do.
Yeah. What's your favorite thing about being a dad right now?
Ask me questions. I mean, right now, gosh, Ellie definitely gets a lot of my like my first attention. Like whenever I walk in, it's funny because it'll be like, I'll be like, Cooper, Grayson, Sully, Ellie. and she's so like smiley, and just, there's so many things that are changing. So like every day there's something new, but I do think that one thing I love being a dad right now is, the craziness of being parents to kids that are in this stage of life. Like I really enjoy that. And I know that it's a lot of things. I mean, even, sports coming up in the fall and, winter and spring, and like balancing that, and everybody driving every which way. And it's just a lot to like kind of handle. But at the same time, like that craziness is what I really like. I mean, I like that we've got a little bit of chaos going, because we never know what's going to go, what's going to happen with my personality. I tend to lean into the unknown of not having predictability. And with having 4 kids, you don't have a predictive life. And so I think for me, I enjoy that. I think, like I said, the hardest thing right now is choosing that patience of being patient with them. And I think that I don't want to look back on these years and regret all the things I said no to. It's like, because I don't think anybody looks back and be like, you know what? I said yes to too many things.
Right.
It's like normally we say no to too many things.
Yeah.
And I want to say yes a lot more than I currently do.
That's a good goal to lean into.
Yeah.
So is it hard, since I'm at home all day, is it hard for you to be at work, because Bradley works and lives, and I live here too, but in the same place? Is that hard to see us out and about or hear us out and about while you're in your office working? Or do you feel like you're missing out on things because we are so close to where you work? Or is it just out of sight, out of mind?
I think living and working in the same place definitely has its like set of challenges. But for me, I enjoy it. Like, I enjoy being able to stop and say, hey. I definitely feel guilty at times for like not stopping or not swinging by, of wherever you guys are at. But I also know I have a job that I need to get done and I need to do so that I can go. The other part is, because I live and work here, it's like I can very easily go back to work quickly. And that's not something that's good either. Because I can, quickly go, oh, I'm going to go pick up the mail. 2 hours later, I come back and I picked up the mail and I did some other things.
Yeah.
It was like accomplished some more work. And so I think for me, it's, I don't know. Yes, it's hard, but at the same time, like, the perks definitely outweigh. I mean, being able to come home for lunch and see you and Ellie while the boys are at school, being able to see the boys riding their bikes around camp, like, that's just something that I know.
They don't ride bikes around
well, they're
camp.
riding their one wheels around camp. I've created monsters. I don't hate it, but I think seeing them do that around, it's something that a lot of people don't get the opportunity to have, and that they wish that they could. And so, as hard as it might be, I think it's a perk that definitely is really enjoyed by me.
That's good.
What is it like? So, you worked for 7 years, like, in the office before we had kids,
Right.
And then we went instant family. Like, how is that adjustment for not, like, going from the working, having a pay, a consistent like paycheck, and like, I know you have Etsy and like your side business and stuff, but like, how is that going to just being like your sole role is being mom and mom and wife. I'm the husband, mom and wife. And then, you've also got your job kind of that you're bouncing in and out of. How has that been?
That's a good question. I think early on it was whenever the boys first came into our home and I was working, which was still just part-time. It was, or at least it seemed, it was part-time, right? Mm-hmm. It was really hard.
It was kind of part-time.
It was, yeah.
You still had a lot of stuff that you had to do.
Yeah, it was, I don't know if it was fully part-time, but it was a lot less hours, I guess.
Yeah.
Still the same amount of work, but less hours. So that was hard, and that was really stressful, especially as they were moving in and people were starting to like register for summer camp, and it's just a whole lot right there in the spring, which is right whenever our whole lives were changing. And I remember talking to Julie, who's the camp director's wife, and she asked me one day, she was like, I was just kind of telling her some struggles and hardships that were with this summer of 2019, and trying to like figure out what it looked like to be a mom to these boys. And she was like, wouldn't it just be so nice? Or like, would it make you feel so much better if all you had to do was worry about like just your grocery shopping list for just your family instead of all these other things that you have to do? Like, would you rather just go do that? And it was like, yeah, I kind of would rather just do that. And so then I just kept working until like Thanksgiving of 2019. And then we decided that I should just stay at home all the time. And I'm thankful for that. And it's been a good season, but now that I've been in that season for going on 4 years.
Yeah. 4 years this fall.
Yeah. There's definitely some moments where I'm like, I feel like I should be doing something to help our family financially, or like be involved in the community a little bit more, or try to figure out something to do. Or at least that was my mindset before Ellie came, and now she is here. And that kind of has like set that back a little bit, because she's a little bit more involved right now, being a baby. And
ugh, such a baby.
I know, but she's cute.
Very cute. She gets away with a lot.
Yeah. So there's been things where I've wanted to try to have more of a job. Like, I like having Etsy, but I don't think I'm a boss. Like, I don't think I could. I'm
You're
good.
a boss.
I don't know if I'm good at managing. Like, I would rather someone manage me and just tell me what to do, and then I can go do that job.
Yeah.
So there's been times where I've wanted to do things like that, something, but at the same time, I know that these next 18 years, at least, are only going to come this one time, and I can work some other time.
Yeah.
And it's more important to me to be here and be available for these 4 kids right now, and for you, than to go work somewhere, either part or full time. That's pulling me away from my family.
Right.
I'd rather do that than have the stress of maybe having a little extra money. So, does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. I think that it would just be a weird transition of being able to do that. You know, I think that there's a lot of times that I wish I could stay, like, not I wish, but like, I don't even know how to say it, but it's like, there's times that I'm like, oh, being a stay-at-home dad would be a lot of fun, you know, but I also know that it's not all fun. It's a lot of hard work, and you do a lot of things around the house.
Well, I kind of went from having a very full-time job where I juggled a lot of things to having a full-time stay-at-home job where I still juggled a lot of things, but it was just a little different because the boys went to school. So I was like, I didn't have a lot of things to do during the day sometimes. And I was like, what do I do now? But then they would come home, and it was like, okay, well, anything I wanted to do for myself, like it stops now. Like, now I have to focus on them. So it's like the hours just changed.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, I think you're a boss still.
So I felt like I never had like a normal transition of like just being at home for a minute.
Yeah.
For like a few months before the baby came or whatever, just went straight into like one full-time job to the next.
To go into the lake every single day.
That's true. I don't hate that.
Just to wear them out.
Yeah. I do like going to the lake.
Wow. What a time. Well.
And all of them like the water. So
that is good.
That makes it a whole lot better.
Yeah. Having the camp to wear them out is definitely helpful. Oh, cool. Good talk. Should we end it now?
Yeah, if you want.
Yeah. End it there. We'll see if we do another one. You want to do another one?
I'll do another one with you.
Okay. Well, maybe we'll do another one. Sounds good. So on that note, we will end it there. What